My girlfriend's friend sent me one message. Check the security camera before you land. I replied, I'm looking now. What I saw made me book the next flight home. When I walked through the front door, the person waiting inside changed everything. Original post. I, 32 male, had been with Qley, 29, for 6 years. We met in a coffee shop when she accidentally took my order, and for 6 years, I thought that was the cutest meet cute in history. Now, looking back, I realize it was probably the first of 1,000 calculated moves. We lived in a house I bought 3 years ago, a fixer-upper that I'd poured my literal blood and sweat into. Qley worked part-time in marketing, but mostly she managed our social life and the house. I handled the mortgage, the bills, and the boring stuff. I was on a business trip in London, the biggest pitch of my career. I was supposed to be there for 10 days. On day 4, at 3 a.m. London time, I got a DM from a girl named Maya. Maya was Qley's best friend, or so I thought. The message was chillingly brief. Check the security camera before you land. Don't call her. Just look. I pulled up the Nest app on my phone, my hands already sweating. I scrolled back to the previous evening. I saw a van pull into our driveway. A man I'd never seen before got out. He had a key. He didn't just have a key, he had a key code for the alarm. He and Qley spent the next 5 hours carrying boxes out of the house. Not just any boxes. They were taking my safe, my grandfather's coin collection, and the folder from my office that held the original deed to the house. But the worst part wasn't the theft. It was the way they were acting. They weren't rushing. They were laughing. They stopped to order pizza. At one point, the man pinned Qley against the kitchen island, the island I'd installed with my own hands, and they kissed with a familiarity that screamed years, not weeks. I replied to Maya, I'm looking now. Then I called the airline. I didn't care about the pitch. I didn't care about the job. I booked the first flight back to JFK, an 11-hour nightmare of staring at a silent phone. Step 2, Update 1. I landed at 4 p.m. I didn't take a cab. I took an Uber and had him drop me off 2 blocks away. I walked to my own house like a burglar. The van was gone. Qley's car was gone. I expected the place to be empty. I expected to find a Dear John letter and a stripped house. I used my backup key, the one hidden in a fake rock, because I knew she'd have changed the deadbolt. The house was deathly quiet. I walked into the living room, and that's when I saw him. It wasn't the guy from the video. It was a man in his late 50s, wearing a cheap suit, sitting on my sofa, reading a newspaper. He looked up like I was the intruder. Can I help you? He asked, his voice calm and patronizing. Who the hell are you, and why are you in my house? I yelled, Your house. He chuckled, tossing the paper aside. I think there's been a mistake. I'm the legal representative for the new owner. I'm here to ensure the transition goes smoothly. New owner? I'm the owner. I have the deed. He smiled, a slow, greasy movement of his lips. Actually, son, the deed was transferred 48 hours ago. Electronic signature, notarized. Qley sold her half to my client. And since you defaulted on the private loan agreement you signed with her last year, your half was forfeited. I stood there, my brain short-circuiting. I never signed a loan agreement. I never gave her half of the house. I bought it before we were married. Hell, we weren't even married. But then it hit me. The tax documents she'd asked me to sign before I left. She told me it was for a homestead exemption. I'd trusted her. I'd signed whatever she put in front of me while I was rushing to pack for London. Get out, I said, my voice shaking. Get out before I call the police. Go ahead, he said, leaning back. They've already been here. We showed them the paperwork. You're the one trespassing now, Liam. Step 3, Update 2. I spent that first night in a motel that smelled like cigarettes and regret. I didn't sleep. I just sat on the edge of the bed with my laptop, trying to find Maya. I needed to know who that guy in the van was. I finally got Maya on a burner app. She was terrified. Liam, I shouldn't be talking to you. Qley told everyone you hit her. She posted photos on a private group. Her face was, it was bad. Everyone believes her. I was in London, Maya. I have the plane tickets. I have the hotel receipts. It doesn't matter, Maya whispered. She says you did it the night before you left. She says you've been drugging her to keep her quiet. She's already filing for a protective order. Then the social media storm started. I woke up the next morning to 30 missed calls. My sister, my mom, my boss. Qley had gone public. She'd posted a video, tearful, puffy-eyed, sitting in a shelter, which I later realized was just a decorated corner of her sister's basement. She talked about the years of silent torment and how she finally had to sell everything and run just to survive. The comments were a bloodbath. Burn him. I always knew he looked off. Check his basement. My boss called me at noon. Liam, we saw the posts. We saw the allegations. We can't have you representing the firm. Your pitch in London? It's been retracted. We're putting you on unpaid administrative leave effective immediately. I was losing my house, my reputation, and my career in the span of 24 hours. And the kicker? The guy in the van wasn't just some random thug. Maya sent me a link to an old high school yearbook. His name was Marcus, Qley's high school sweetheart, the one who died in a car wreck 10 years ago. Turns out, he hadn't died. He'd been in prison for fraud, and he'd just gotten out. Step 4, Update 3. I realized then that I couldn't fight this like a normal person. If I went to the cops, they'd see this signed documents and the bruises, and they'd throw me in a cell. I had to be smarter. I remembered something Qley didn't know. When I bought the house, I was paranoid about the neighborhood. I'd installed a secondary, hidden security system, not the Nest one she knew about, but a series of pinhole cameras wired into the smoke detectors. They recorded to a physical DVR hidden in the crawl space behind the water heater. It wasn't connected to the Wi-Fi. It was offline. I waited until 3 a.m. I drove to the house. There was a for sale sign in the yard already. They were flipping my life's work. I crawled through the basement window I'd purposely left unlocked months ago when I was fixing the seal. I made it to the crawl space. My heart was thumping so hard I thought it would wake the neighbors. I grabbed the DVR unit, stuffed it into a backpack, and crawled back out. When I got back to the motel, I plugged it into the TV. I didn't just find the theft. I found the makeup session. I watched, nauseated, as Qley and Marcus sat in my kitchen. Marcus was holding a palette of theatrical makeup. He was carefully applying bruises to her cheek and neck. They were glancing at a reference photo on a phone to make sure the grip marks looked authentic. Make sure this one looks like a thumbprint, Qley said, laughing. Liam's always so clumsy. It'll be easy to say he lost his temper. Step 5, Update 4. I had the video of the makeup, but I needed more. I needed to prove the fraud on the deed. I contacted a private investigator named Frank. Frank was a retired cop who looked like he'd been chewed up and spit out by the world. You got a long con here, kid, Frank told me, flipping through the screenshots I'd taken. This isn't just a breakup. This is a syndicate. This Marcus guy? He's done this before. Find a lonely guy with assets, move in, fake the abuse, strip the title. They call it vampiring. Frank tracked Marcus to a warehouse on the edge of town. It was filled with furniture, my dining table, my couch, my electronics. They were selling my life on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. But Frank found something even better. He found the notary who signed the deed transfer. A woman named Elena who worked out of a dry cleaner's backroom. She's a notary for hire, Frank said. For $500, she'll notarize a contract signed by a ghost. We get her to talk, we get the house back. I felt a spark of hope, but then the phone rang. It was my lawyer. Liam, bad news. Qley's legal team just filed a civil suit for intentional infliction of emotional distress. They're asking for $2 million. They've frozen your bank accounts as a precautionary attachment. I had $12 in my pocket and a backpack with a DVR. I was officially at rock bottom. Step 6, Update 5. The hearing for the protective order was the turning point. Qley showed up looking like a saint. White dress, no makeup, except for the fading bruises Marcus had applied. She had her attorney, the guy from my sofa, next to her. The judge looked at me with pure disgust. Mr. Harrison, the evidence of abuse here is staggering. Do you have anything to say for yourself before I make this order permanent and refer this to the district attorney? My lawyer, who I was paying with my last credit card, stood up. Your Honor, we would like to present a video. It's from a secondary, non-networked security system. Qley's lawyer scoffed. Your Honor, this is a stalling tactic. Any video he has could be deep-faked or edited. The DVR is right here, my lawyer said, holding up the black box. We invite the court's IT specialist to verify the metadata and the physical drive. They played it. The courtroom went silent. The sight of Qley laughing while a man painted bruises on her neck was like a physical blow to everyone in the room. You could see the moment her soul left her body. She turned gray. But we didn't stop there. My lawyer played the audio from the kitchen. Once the house sells, we head to Florida. Marcus's voice boomed through the speakers. Liam will be in jail, the bank will be looking for a dead man, and we'll be on the beach with $500,000 in cash. He's such an idiot, Qley. How did you stand him for 6 years? I just closed my eyes and thought about the money, Qley replied. The judge's face went from disgust for me to a cold, hard rage directed at the woman in the white dress. Step 7, Update 6. The judge didn't just deny the protective order. She ordered the immediate arrest of Qley and Marcus for perjury and filing a false police report. As the bailiffs moved in, Qley's mom stood up in the gallery and started screaming. Not at Qley. At me. You ruined her. You trapped her in that house and made her do this. She just wanted a life. You're a monster for recording her. The entitlement was genetic. It was a family affair. 2 hours later, I was sitting in my lawyer's office when the greasy suit lawyer called. He wasn't arrogant anymore. Liam, let's be reasonable. My client is facing 10 years. If you agree to drop the civil theft charges and sign a non-disclosure agreement, she'll return the house title and tell the police Marcus forced her into it. You get your life back, and we all walk away. I looked at the phone. I thought about the motel. I thought about my job. I thought about the 6 years I'd spent loving a ghost. No, I said, I don't want a deal. I want the maximum sentence. And tell Qley, I'm keeping the makeup palette. It's going to be evidence in the fraud trial. Step 8, Update 7. The next 3 months were a whirlwind of legal battles. Once the abuse narrative crumbled, the rest of the house of cards fell with it. Elena, the crooked notary, flipped within 10 minutes of being questioned by the DA. She admitted she'd never seen me sign the deed. She admitted Qley paid her in cash. Then came the private loan. We found the original document. It was a masterpiece of forgery. They'd used a light box to trace my signature from an old birthday card. But under a microscope, the ink flow was all wrong. The forensic document examiner ripped it to shreds in his report. Marcus tried to run. He made it as far as the bus station before the cops caught him with my grandfather's coin collection in his backpack. The social media tide turned instantly. Suddenly, the Believe Women crowd was replaced by Justice for Liam. People who had blocked me were now sending me long, rambling apologies. I didn't reply to any of them. If you weren't there when I was in that $40 motel room, you don't get to be here now that I'm back in my house. My boss called. Liam, we'd like to offer you your position back. With a raise. And a public apology from the firm. I'll take the raise, I said. But the apology needs to be on the front page of the company newsletter. Step 9, Update 8. It's been 6 months since the person waiting inside changed everything. Qley is currently serving a 4-year sentence for conspiracy to commit grand larceny and perjury. Marcus got 7, thanks to his prior record. I'm back in the house. It's empty now. I sold all the furniture they touched. I couldn't stand the thought of sitting on the couch where they'd planned to ruin me. I'm sleeping on a mattress on the floor in the middle of a beautiful, hollowed-out living room. The for sale sign is back in the yard, but this time, I'm the one who put it there. I'm moving to a different state. I need to be somewhere where the coffee shops don't remind me of her. Maya reached out last week. She wanted to grab a drink. She said she felt guilty for not telling me sooner. You knew for months, didn't you? I asked her over the phone. I suspected, she admitted. But she was my friend, Liam. I didn't want to believe she was that cruel. Believe it now, I said, and I hung up. Step 10, Conclusion. Sometimes I still wake up at 3 a.m. and check the security cameras. Not because I think someone is there, but because I'm checking to see if I'm still me. Betrayal isn't a single event. It's a slow-acting poison that changes the way you see the world. I don't look at meet cuties as cute anymore. I look at them as potential openings. But there's a peace in the silence of this empty house. I lost a lot. Money, time, trust. But I kept the one thing they tried to take, my truth. To the people on Reddit who told me to get a lawyer and hide the DVR, thank you. You probably saved my life. And to Qley, I hope the prison lighting is better than the scared victim lighting you practiced in our kitchen. You always did look better in the dark. I'm hitting post on this now. I have a flight to catch in the morning. No business trip this time. Just a one-way ticket to somewhere new. Holy crap, I didn't expect this to blow up. Thanks for the support. To everyone asking, yes, I got the coins back. No, I haven't talked to her parents. And yes, the house sold for 20% over asking. Signing off for good. Time to go live a life that isn't a script.